So I'm adding this book to my GOODREADS, and as I'm doing that, I notice that it says Hannah Swenson number 3. So I'm gonna continue reading this, but I'm preparing myself to be very confused. Hey guys, it's Hannah, and today I am doing a vlog. What I am doing is a month full of mystery books. I was planning on doing this back in March, and it was going to be called, I think, A March Full of Mystery in parentheses books, and it was going to be great. But then March happened and reading didn't. So I opted to even leave out that part of my TBR from my TBR because I just knew it was not going to happen. But now, today is April 1st, and we are going to be doing an April Full of Mystery books. I do not know if I will do a whole month vlog posted once at the end of the month, or if I'm gonna kind of break this up by week. Kind of depends on how much vlog footage I get and how much reading actually happens. Last night I switched my calendar to April, and I was writing in all of like my big things that I have, because I write those on my wall calendar, and then my planner has like everything I have due, and there's like 5 days that don't have something written on them. So my April's a bit crazy, so it might end up being just I vlog for one full month and then post it at the end. I might do 2-week segments. Who knows what's gonna happen. First of all, let's get into my TBR for this month. Now, if I do read something that is not a mystery book, that's cool, that's okay, we're gonna go with it. But I am gonna attempt to focus on mystery books. And I have specific things that I want for myself. My first thing that I want to do is I want to read a Murder, She Wrote book. Now, if you don't know what Murder, She Wrote is, it is an old television show where Angela Lansbury plays Jessica B. Fletcher, and she is a mystery author, and she ends up having to solve murder mysteries in real life. It is fantastic. I absolutely adore that show. And they have books, and I don't know if the books are basically just a written format of each episode, or if they're different, or how that is working, but I want to read one of these books. I'm not picky, I'm just gonna see if my library has any of them. I was looking at one point, and apparently they're very sparse to find in libraries. So if I don't find one there, then I'll go to Half Price Books and see if they have something. But that is my first thing on my list of things that I want to read. My next goal is to read an Agatha Christie Miss Marple book. These are the Agatha Christie books that I own and I haven't read, and some of them are Miss Marple. Actually, looking at it, just one is Miss Marple. So this month I hope to get to The Body and the Library by Agatha Christie, which if you saw my What's on My Shelf video, this is the one Agatha Christie that I own that I'm most excited to get to. So hopefully I will get to it this month. These then lead me into my next goal for this month, which is to read an Agatha Christie book that is a GOODREADS series. So these 3 are all from that series. I don't know which one I want to read first, but I'm kind of leaning towards Third Girl. Don't know why, I just really like the cover, so I'm thinking this is the one I'm gonna go for. But I have options. And just for reference, the other 2 options are The Murder of Roger Ackroyd and The Big Four. Now next, I want to read a Henry Press book. Now Henry Press is a publishing house in Frisco, Texas, and they publish cozy mysteries. So I wanted to read one of their books, and it took me a long time to find one. But on my Kindle, I got Counterfeit Conspiracies by Ritter Ames, which is published by Henry Press. And it took me forever to find one where I could purchase one and not like through Amazon or something, because I wasn't in the mood to order anything. But we have one, and so I will be reading that hopefully at some point this month. My next goal is to read a book with a pun in the title, because I don't know if you noticed it, but those like cozy mysteries oftentimes have a pun in the title. Now I don't have a specific one for this goal yet. I'll probably just go to my library or Half Price Books and see what I can find, but that is a goal for this month. The next one is going to also be my first read of the month. That is to read a food-related murder, because I feel like a lot of these books have something to do with food, especially in the title. So I am reading Blueberry Muffin Murder by Joanne Fluke. And the final goal I have for this month is to read an old childhood favorite, because I used to love reading mystery books, and I'd read Trixie Belden, Bobbsey Twins, Boxcar Children, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys, all the kinds basically. So I want to reread one of my childhood favorites, and I have with me 3 options. I'm kind of hoping to get to all, but that might not happen. So the first 2 I'm going to show you I've actually already read before, but then the next one I technically haven't read the version I have. But the first one is The Boxcar Children by Gertrude Chandler Warner. This series might have been the series that got me into reading. It was kind of the book that made me get the hang of reading. So it always has a special place in my heart. I loved this series, and maybe I will get to this one this month, hopefully. The next one I have is Trixie Belden and the Secret of the Mansion. This is book 1 by Julie Campbell, and this was another series that I absolutely loved as a kid. I'm hoping, since they're all children's books and therefore shorter and quicker reads, I'll be able to get to all of them. And then the last one I have is this picture book. It's a Nancy Drew picture book, The Secret of the Twin Puppets by Carolyn Keene. And I don't think I read The Secret of the Twin Puppets, but I definitely have not read the illustrated edition of it. I actually got this up in Maine. And so this is my tentative-ish TBR for the month. So my plan is throughout the month I am going to vlog myself reading these books, since I am in a way getting back into mysteries. I haven't read a whole bunch of mysteries all at once since I was a kid, because when I was a kid that was basically all that I read. I read a little bit of everything though, and then now I kind of just read one every now and then, and I kind of just want to get back into them. So we are going to attempt a month of mystery, and so far we're off to a good start. I have made myself a cup of tea because I have a killer headache and my throat is starting to get a little scratchy. So we're gonna try and fix that. And I'm about to do some school, which is probably not what I should be doing when I have a headache, but I need to get it done. Before I get into that, I wanted to do a quick little summary, I guess, of what this book is about so far. No clue going into it what it's about. Let's start by saying that. But so far, I know it is about a girl named Hannah. She lives in a small town in Minnesota. It is currently February. She runs a bakery and they're having a winter carnival, and some famous celebrity chef cooking show host lady is there, and she is one of the most annoying people you will ever meet. But so far I am loving seeing her interactions because she makes me think of an aunt of mine. I have an aunt who is very much so like Miss Bennet from Pride and Prejudice, and every time I see a Miss Bennet in a book, it makes me just like the book a little more, because I can relate to how people dislike that character so much, on a much more personal level. And she's not quite a Miss Bennet at all, but there are just certain tendencies within her that make her a joy to read about, because I can relate to Hannah. First of all, can we talk about how great it is that a character's name's Hannah? I also really like Hannah so far. She seems very sensible. She seems to have her head on her shoulders. And there's this one quote that I was reading before class that cracked me up, and I just wanted to share it with y'all. So a guy is asking her out to dinner, and she's like, listen, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go home. He was like, well, how about just a quick bite to eat instead of like a dinner? She goes, not tonight. I just want to go home and crawl into bed with a glass of wine and a toasted sardine sandwich, which in my opinion sounds disgusting, but this is why I think it's funny. So Norman, that's the guy's name, made a face. That doesn't sound very nutritious. And she says, it's not as bad as you think. Sardines are protein, and I always use the ones in ketchup sauce. That takes care of the vegetable. And the buttered toast provides the fat and the carbohydrates. It's a very well-balanced sandwich if you think about it. And that cracked me up because, you know, I try to eat healthy. I consider myself a fairly healthy person, but every now and then that just doesn't happen. And so I do that kind of thing. I was like, well, this has this. Like, for example, you eat peanut M&Ms. Peanuts have protein. Chocolates have antioxidants. Well, not that chocolate. But you know, you tell yourself those things to make you feel better about what you're eating, and it cracked me up. I thought it was hilarious. That is where I am. I am currently on page 63, chapter 6. Oh, and you might have noticed, I don't know if you can even see them, but I have book darts in this thing. You might be thinking, Hannah, why do you have book darts in a mass market paperback with a beat up spine that you got at Katie Budget Books because it says it's stamped on the bottom? Let me tell you, this book comes with recipes. For example, the blueberry muffin recipe. That one, the one like in the title. And so I'm bookmarking them. And at some point, mark my words, I'm going to attempt to make some of these. So that is why there are book darts in this book. I was gonna just dog ear. Like, listen, I was gonna just dog ear, but I decided against it. So instead we're using book darts in a mass market paperback. There has been a murder. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you who gets killed because it literally says it on the back. I didn't realize that it said it on the back until I was looking at the back after I had found out we were reading it. So, I mean, you can easily assume who's going to be murdered, and I kind of guessed who was going to be murdered, but I didn't want her to be murdered. Connie May is who gets murdered, by the way. She is the annoying aunt of mine character that I was enjoying hating, and so I'm mad that she's dead because I was enjoying hating her. And also I was really hoping that it was going to be one of those situations where there's this like really annoying side character that just kind of like tags along the main character and tries to take the fame and that kind of a thing. I was ready for that to happen, and it didn't. Instead she got killed. So little upset, not gonna lie. And I just want to read this one passage. Like I said earlier, did I mention this earlier? It turns out this is the third book in a series. Didn't know that when I picked it up, so I'm reading the third book. So far it hasn't affected anything. Everything's easy to understand and stuff. And I just want to read this one passage that cracked me up. So obviously, since this is a series, she has a knack for finding dead bodies. And apparently her mother hates it. So this is her mother talking at the moment. Her mother's name's Dolores. And she says, maybe you're right. I went to a lot of work, you know, and everything is absolutely authentic for the... Dolores stopped speaking and her eyes narrowed. Who found her? Hannah winced. It would come out sooner or later, and it might as well be now. I did. Hannah,
You simply got to stop finding bodies. I swear you attract them like a magnet. If you're not careful, everyone's going to get the wrong impression of you. That's unfair, Norman objected. Norman's still in the picture. Mike, the other love interest, has come in and he kind of pushed my buttons, but ignoring that. That's unfair, Norman objected. Hannah just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's exactly what I thought the first few times. But 5? That's enough to make people wonder. I don't know what it was about that, but it cracked me up and I loved it because I feel like it's never acknowledged in these series that, yeah, why do you always find dead bodies? JB Fletcher, why do you always find dead bodies? Why is there always a murder? Nancy Drew, why do you always find yourself in the middle of a mystery? Like, what is it? And I feel like this is the first time I've seen that acknowledged and it cracked me up. I didn't really do any reading yesterday, so I'm only on page 85, but I am highly enjoying this book. It is so much fun. I'm loving the characters. Hannah has a very natural humor to her, and I am loving this book so far. Hello, it is, I believe, the next day, and update is, that's upside down. Update is, I am on page 125, and I don't like Mark, or Mike. What's his name, Mike? His name's Mike. First of all, I should point out that this is going to technically kind of be a spoiler, I guess, for the book, so timestamp to when I stopped spoiling stuff, but I'm enjoying spoiling, so we're gonna keep doing that. Mike is one of her potential love interests, and he is a cop, and he told her not to interfere and try and get all sleuthy and solve the mystery, but obviously Hannah is not listening to him. And she's at an inn so she can bake her cookies, because there's this whole carnival going on, and she's gotta bake cookies. And Mike starts accusing Norman, who's the other love interest, for the murder of Connie Mae. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the first thing that got me about it was this one part where Hannah's like, there's no way he could have done it because he called me at this time and he sounded perfectly normal. And he says, that doesn't prove anything. If he killed her at 10, he had a whole hour to calm down. Let's just hang on. Let's just a whole hour to calm down. Hour. 1 hour. But then he doesn't stop there. Look, Hannah, I know it's not something you want to believe about Norman, but you got to admit it's possible it happened just the way I said. Hannah closed her eyes. If she stared at Mike's earnest face looming over hers, she'd probably hit him right in the beak. She took a deep breath, collected her wits, and looked up at him again. Well, isn't it possible? Mike prodded her for an answer. Obviously, this man didn't know when to quit. So that happens. And then we turn the page. So he's finally about to leave. And Mike reached out to give her a hug. I've got to get back to work. Just promise me that you'll be careful around Norman. Norman didn't kill Connie Mack. Oh, I've been saying Connie Mae. Oh well, her name's Connie Mack, not Connie Mae. I know you don't believe that he could do it, but I understand Norman a lot better than you do. Really? Hannah worked hard to keep the sarcasm out of her voice. As far as she knew, Mike hadn't spent more than a few casual moments with Norman. That's right. Men understand each other better than a woman ever could. Hannah's complaining about this to her sister, who's helping her kind of solve this caper. And her sister, Andrea, I think is her name, is like, oh my gosh, he's in love with you. He's jealous and he wants you to stay away from Norman. So that means he loves you. And then she was like, I know I'm right, Hannah. Mike is definitely in love with you. Hannah made a face. If that's love, I don't need it. And man, was I so proud of her for that. Because I'm not liking this Mike character. And I was starting to worry that it was going to be this whole, oh, it's fine. He's being protective of me. It's cute. When it's like not. He's literally accusing her other beau of murder. I am very glad that she was like, I don't need that in my life. It was beautiful. I cheered. I didn't actually cheer, but I mentally cheered. Still really enjoying this. Still a whole lot of fun. We're just slowly chugging along. I just took a test. Don't feel that great about it, but we're okay. We're not actually, but like we're gonna pretend we are. So, I am downtown. I'm about to meet some friends for a music thing and dinner and stuff. And let's try and move so the sun's better. I don't know. But I'm parked next to the library and I thought, yeah, I should look up and see if they have a Murder, She Wrote book. And they do. And it's called Coffee, Tea, or Murder. Or it might be Tea, Coffee, or Murder. But either way, that's like the title and I want to find it. And it says that it's here. So we're gonna go look for it, and I'm very excited. So they're closed. I guess they closed at 5 or 4 or something, so I'm a bit bitter. But it's fine. I'll just put it on hold, and then I'll pick it up later. I'm okay.
I see
just got back from my workout class. I do a PiYo class on Sundays. For those who don't know, PiYo is Pilates and yoga combined, because I've discovered I don't love doing Pilates and I don't love doing yoga, but for some reason when they're combined, I really like it. So I do that. I have a lemon ginger spinach smoothie, which might sound disgusting to you, but it actually tastes amazing. But I do love lemon things and I love ginger. I have a whole lot of ginger tea and I love spinach. So keep that in mind. But today is the 7th and I have still not finished a book. I know, shh. We don't have to talk about it. I am currently, oh gosh, on page 167. My problem is next week is going to be absolutely crazy. I have 2 shows that I'm working, 2 tests back to back on Wednesday, and then I have a test that's a paper due on Friday, as well as a nutrition infographic due on Friday, and then another paper due Friday or Monday. I think it got moved to Monday. It was Friday though. So there's a lot. I have a planner. So my hope for tonight is that I finish the 2 quizzes that are due tonight that I have to do, and then finish a Quizlet for a Texas history course that I'm taking. But once I get those done, my plan is to read a little. And my hope is that I have enough energy and can stay up late enough or read fast enough to get it done tonight. I might be setting myself up for failure. I probably am. But you know what? We're gonna go with it. So that's the plan. Don't know if it'll happen. Can I just say, if you need any inclination of to how this month's gonna be, John Wayne's face right here, he's showing the mood of the month. That's me when I look at my calendar and how much I have to do. I have finished Blueberry Muffin Murder by Joanne Fluke, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I did guess the murderer. It was one of those that I feel like it's fairly simple to guess, but that didn't bug me at all. Like, I didn't mind the fact that I was able to quickly guess who the murderer was, because I just really enjoyed this book. I have a couple of pages that I marked, so let's see what I marked on them, see if it's worth discussing right now. So this one is, she's in the kitchen with a friend of hers, and it's breakfast time, and the friend says, I brought in the paper, do you want the front section? And Hannah says, no, give me the comics. I can't handle hard news until I've had at least 1 pot of coffee. And can I just say relatable? And also, she drinks so much coffee and I love it. She was going around delivering cookies to all these different like events for the winter carnival, and everyone gave her a cup of coffee because apparently the whole town just knows that she loves coffee. And she didn't turn one down until she had like 5 cups, 4 cups, something like that. And then she was like, I should probably stop. It was amazing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. A great start to my month of mystery. It is the 8th of, oh, I almost said August. I don't know why I did that. It is the 8th of April and I have finished a book. I don't know what I'm going to start next. I'm kind of thinking I'm either going to pick up the Murder, She Wrote book from the library because I just got the email saying that it's in, but I might not do that until tomorrow. So I'm thinking I'm going to charge my Kindle and start reading a conspiracy of something, Henry Press book that I downloaded, whatever that's called. I think I'm going to start reading that. So last night I started reading Counterfeit Conspiracies, The Bodies of Art, book 1. I'm not loving it so far. I have a couple of sentences highlighted that just kind of rang as odd when I read them, such as, the tiny warning whine never had a chance to turn into a scream. My device made friends and invited us to enter. Then I heard a noise. A human moving noise. And the last one is, I tried to figure which camp he fit into, but got nada. So that's all in the first chapter, and there's just a couple of things like that where it's just a little bit strange. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. Granted, I'm only 2 chapters in, so keep that in mind. But so far, I'm not terribly impressed. Another thing about this book is it starts off where she's stealing some kind of painting, and there are these 2 Dobermans named Zeus and Apollo, and my mind just went Magnum PI, because in the TV show Magnum PI, there are 2 Dobermans named Zeus and Apollo. And then I just couldn't get that out of my head because she's kind of like narrating herself in the first chapter, and Magnum like narrates himself in the show. So now I just like can't really get Magnum PI on my head. So far this is kind of making me think of High Society by Ali Carter, but with adults. So if it is like that, then this will be great. But so far I'm a little bit hesitant because I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna like this. And I can't quite explain it. It's just something about it I'm not sure about. I also, this morning before I left to go meet a friend to study, read the first like 3-ish chapters of The Boxcar Children, and it was glorious. I haven't gotten to the dog yet, but I forgot there was a dog in this book, and I'm very excited. So far, it's just bringing me back to my childhood, and I'm loving it. It's very nostalgic for me, and therefore I am highly enjoying it. I should be studying for the not 1, but 2 tests that I have tomorrow, but instead I finished The Boxcar Children. It was
So cute. Everything from Benny's pink cup to Watch the Watchdog. I loved it. It was so nostalgic. As I was reading, everything was coming back to me because I read this book so many times as a kid and it was all just flooding back and I loved every second of it. And something I found interesting was in this edition, I know for a fact I never read this little tidbit in the back, but it's very interesting and I'm going to read a little bit to you. Gertrude Chandler Warner discovered when she was teaching that many readers who like an exciting story could find no books that were both easy to read and fun to read. She decided to try to meet this need, and her first book, The Boxcar Children, quickly proved she had succeeded. When Mrs. Warner received requests for more adventures involving Henry, Jessie, Violet, and Benny, she began additional stories. In each, she chose a special setting and introduced unusual or eccentric characters who liked the unpredictable. While the mystery element is central to each of Miss Warner's books, she didn't think of them as strictly juvenile mysteries. She likes to stress the Aldens' independence and resourcefulness, and their solid New England devotion to using up and making do. The Aldens go about most of their adventures with as little adult supervision as possible, something else that delights young readers. So I thought that was very interesting. If I remember correctly, I feel like I read somewhere that she actually only wrote the first 18, and then she passed away, and then the rest say inspired by Gertrude Chandler Warner or something like that, they're not actually written by her. So that was heartbreaking when I discovered that. But I love this series. It was so nostalgic, and one thing I love about it was how easy it is to read if you have a kid in your life. It's a really great book for if they're in that kind of middle ground of reading. Highly recommend The Boxcar Children, and it's just a fun adventure story and I love it so much. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna study. I promise. I don't know if I'm actually going to, guys. Honestly, this day has been not good for studying. I have acquired the book. It is called Coffee, Tea, or Murder. I am very excited for this. I'm still currently reading Counterfeit Conspiracies, and I'm still not loving it. It's not awful, but I just don't think it's that great at the moment. Hopefully though, it doesn't take me that long to read, and then I can get started on whatever I decide to read next. I'm not sure what I want to read next. I don't know if I want to start with this one or if I want to read The Body in the Library or A Body in the Library, something like that. So stay tuned for that, but at the moment I just want to get through Counterfeit Conspiracies, and so far I'm just not impressed with it. I'm still 4 or 5 chapters in now, so I'm not that far. I'm just not impressed with the main character so far, and I'm not impressed with who I'm assuming will turn into the love interest, and I'm not hooked on the story at all. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated. So I just recorded a whole clip, but I wasn't actually recording a whole clip. I just thought I was recording a whole clip. But the intro to that clip was me explaining that I had 5 hours of sleep last night, and then 4 before, and then 4 before, and 4 before, so I'm kind of dead. And I guess that's a bit fitting now. Basically, what all I said is that today I did a little more reading. I sat outside in a little garden area we have here and just chilled and read, and they had an event going on, so they had some really great music playing. I got some lemonade. It was great, and I'm liking the book a lot more now. After the first 3 chapters that I was judging very harshly, it's picked up more, and so I like the main character more, and I like her kind of opposition follower stalker dude a little bit more. I believe I'm in chapter 7. It's getting good. I think I'm going to end up liking this because so far it's picked up. I like them more. It's very action-packed. Stuff hasn't stopped since that last chapter, so it's a lot better. Hoping it stays that way. There's still a couple of sentences that are just a little bit weird structure-wise, but they either don't bother me as much now, or I just get so caught up in the action that I don't notice them, or it's just they're less frequent, honestly. So that's an improvement. I'm so glad that I'm liking it a lot more now. Hopefully it stays that way. But yes, I'm about to go get some coffee. I was gonna try and be good and not have any coffee today because I ended up having 3 yesterday, all with sugar and cream, and I try to not have too much coffee with the sugar and cream because that's just an easy way to add up on that. But it happened that way because I got them all at Starbucks, and I don't like Starbucks' black coffee because it's just too acidic and I don't like the taste it has, so I never get their black coffee, and that's just always where I was getting coffee. So it always had cream and sugar. But we're gonna go get some coffee because I desperately need it because I'm about to go meet some friends, and I haven't had a nap today. I was going to get a nap today and that just didn't happen. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that. What I've decided to do is I'm going to do this in 2 parts. So I'm gonna have part 1 be the first 15 days of What month am I in? April? Yeah, April. I need to go to bed. First 15 days of April, and then the part 2 will be the last 15 days of April. So, you're watching part 1. I'm gonna go get coffee now. Today is the 15th of April. It is going to be my final day for this segment of the vlog, and then we will continue in a part 2. The main reason I'm doing this instead of making one long video is because, quite honestly, a computer can just not handle having one giant video. I'm gonna break it up, give my computer a little bit of a break, and give myself another video that's already done. So that'll be nice. So I have finished this afternoon. I finished Counterfeit Conspiracies. I ended up really liking it. I don't know what to rate it on GOODREADS because I feel like it's kind of a 3.5. It's not really a 4 for me, but it's like, it's not a 3. I feel like it's kind of a 3.5, so I'm not quite sure what it'll end up looking like on GOODREADS. I'll probably just go ahead and give it a 3. I'm not sure. But I ended up enjoying it. It was still at parts just a little bit cliche in the characters and just a little bit of like, I've seen this before kind of thing. But as a whole, the action really picked up and that really helped the story along. And I ended up really liking Laurel, the main character, even though at some points she was just a bit annoying. But I feel like at this point I just expect main characters to be a little bit annoying because that, you know, drives the plot and stuff. And Jack was a little bit annoying and pretentious, but again, I kind of expect love interests to be a little annoying and pretentious. It lived up to my expectations in that way, I guess. But I thought it was fun. The action was a lot of fun. I guessed what was gonna happen in some aspects, but that didn't bug me because it was just a fun ride. And there was one thing, because I thought that maybe something's going on with this, but I thought, nah, probably not. And then there was something going on with it. And it wasn't quite what I was thinking, but it was along the same lines. So that was really interesting, and I really liked that. One thing that did kind of bug me, but also ended up working out, was her relationship with Jack. Because there, like, wasn't a relationship. You could tell that there's, like, you know, a spark between them. And like that's going on, but Jack quite literally never gives her any like good solid reason to trust him, and yet he expects her to trust her, and that was very frustrating. But what did help that regard is that Laurel knew that that's what was going on, but then what didn't help that is that sometimes she would still just not think and kind of give him some information. And so it was a bit of a back and forth of like, okay, you're doing great, you know that this isn't how it's supposed to be, but then sometimes you still say things you probably shouldn't be saying to him. But it ended up working out, so I'm not that mad about it, but at some points it was like, okay, this is getting a bit frustrating. Like, you're self-aware, you know you can't trust this guy, and yet here you are. And kind of what got me at the end is there was a line that said, I wouldn't know how to act if he actually told me the whole truth. And that's not a good thing. They're still gonna like work together in the next book, you can tell, and I read the synopsis of the next book because I was curious, and yes, they're gonna work together in the next book. So I'm hoping that something happens to build that trust, because I see potential there, but it's not there yet. All of this being said, I would definitely pick up the next one, and I was looking and they're all like $2 on Kindle, so it might not be this month, but who knows, might continue on with the series. Next, I'm thinking what I'm going to read, because I'm very excited for it, is Coffee, Tea, or Murder. I'm very excited for it. Haven't started yet, but I am going to. Also, I was thinking back over my goals for this month, and one of the ones that I realized I don't have a book physically or electronically in my hands for this month is a book with a pun for a title. So I've been looking some up the past couple of minutes. It hasn't been that long. I just started looking some up, and some of these sound really great. One of them is called Killer Run, and a 5K happens in it. That one looks great because it's apparently a tourist trap mystery, and for some reason that really intrigues me. Another one that I really like, because it has to do with sewing, and I sew, is called A Seamless Murder. Apparently there's some like paranormal magical realism stuff, and I'm not really in the mood for that, so I don't think this is gonna be the one that I pick up, but love the name. Oh, and this one might be my favorite. It's Caught Red-Handed, but R-E-A-D, like you read a book, and it's about a bookshop cafe combo called Read 'em and Eat. I love it. But apparently it's the second one in a series, so that probably won't be the one that I end up getting. I'm kind of leaning towards what's the first one I said? Killer Run. I'm kind of leaning towards that one, but I haven't checked libraries and Amazon to check if it's available / what the price is. So I will update you later if there is any update to do. I'm gonna get dinner with my cousin. I really need to do homework. I've kind of put off homework today to finish the book, so I really need to work on some homework instead of read some more. But I really want to read some more. I'm in a good reading mood at the moment, and I don't want homework to end it. Yeah, we'll see. So this is fast, but Killer Run was on my library's Overdrive system, so guess who just downloaded it onto her Kindle? I did. So I'll probably read Coffee, Tea, or Murder first. and then I'll read Killer Run. And then I should probably read some Agatha Christie. I realized that I've just been reading like the really cozy mysteries, and I haven't been reading the Agatha Christie cozy mysteries. So I'm thinking I'll get to those once I get these done, but I feel like I need to get these two done first since they're both library books and have like a limited window. I don't know when my Killer Run book is due because I haven't looked, but I do know that Coffee, Tea, or Murder is due on the 1st of May. So like I have plenty of time. I have the rest of the month for this like readathon to do it. But in my brain, I'm like, it's a library book. I gotta return it ASAP. So, plus I just really want to read it. I'm gonna read that one next. That's the plan. And then probably Killer Run, and then I need to read an Agatha Christie because that's kind of the reason I thought of doing this whole readathon, and I haven't read one yet. That's a bit of a problem. If this is the end of the line for this part 1 of this month's readathon, thank you for watching. Stay tuned next week for part 2, where we round off the month with hopefully finishing all of the challenges, because that would be great. Comment down below and let me know of the books that I've read so far which one you'd be the most interested in reading. Also comment down below and let me know of the 3 pun titles I listed off which one is your favorite. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all again in another one soon.